Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video I will show you consume web API into ASP.NET web form pages to insert data into SQL Server database using jQuery. And here we got the final output. Let's insert the records, the employee name Charan, the employee email ID charan@gmail.com, and the location is India. Now before insert the record, let's check in our database table. I'm executing the table. Right now this table contains 0 rows. Let's insert the record. Insert record. See, here we got a message, record saved successfully. Click OK. Let's check in the database table. I'm executing the same statement again. Execute. See, here we got the Charan details are inserted successfully. Let's insert the second employee details. This time I'm adding joe@gmail.com USA. Insert record. See, here again we got a message, record saved successfully. Let's close the alert message. Let's execute the table again. Execute. See, here we got the John record is added successfully. That's it. We have implemented to consume web API into web form to insert records using jQuery. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before writing the coding part in web API, first we'll create a new table in this SQL Server Management Studio. After I log into my SQL Server Management, I'm expanding the root folder as well as the databases. And notice the CM is my user database. I want to create a new table in this CM database. So select the CM database, right click the mouse, select new query. Let's write the statement to create a table. Create table. The table name is emp reg is a table name. Let's add the columns emp id, integer type, not null. I'm adding primary key for this column as well as identity, which is a unique numbers. After adding emp id, the second column name is emp name and varchar 150, email and varchar 150, comma, and the location and varchar 150. Just for the demo purpose, I'm adding only 4 columns into this table. Let's execute to create a table. Execute. And here we got a message, command completed successfully. Let's check the CM database, expand that one, as well as the tables folder. Our table name is the emp reg. Here it is the emp reg. It's created successfully in this CM database. Let's browse the table. Select the table name, right click the mouse, select top 1000 rows. And here we got the results of this newly created emp reg table. Right now this table contains 0 rows. Now let's insert some values into this table using web API into web forms using jQuery. For this video tutorial, I'm creating a new web API application. Go to File, New, Project. And from the web templates, I'm selecting ASP.NET Web Application and the .NET Framework. I'm using 4.6.1. Let's give the application name is Web API Insert Record. Web form is a project name. Click OK. And from the ASP.NET templates, I'm selecting Web API. Click OK. And the project is created successfully. Let's close this default window. Open Solution Explorer. First, in this project I am adding ADO.NET Entity Data Model. Right click the project name, add. I'm selecting ADO.NET Entity Data Model. Let's give the model name is EMP, capital letters EMP. Click OK. And from the model contents I'm selecting the first option, EF Designer from database. Click Next. Let's create a new SQL Server connection, new connection. I'm adding SQL Server name. After adding SQL Server name, now I'm selecting the database name. The table I have created in the CM database, so I'm selecting the database CM. After that, test connection is succeeded. OK. OK. And here we got our connection string, and the connection string name is a CM entities. I'm saving this connection string in the web.config file. After that, click Next. Now let's expand the table objects as well as the DBO. Our table name is EMP Reg. Let's check again in our database. EMP Reg, CM database. So let's select that one. Finish. And here we got our entity model is added to our project. After adding ADO.NET Entity Model, the next step, open Solution Explorer, minimize the references folder. Let's add a new Web API controller in this controllers folder. So select the controllers folder, right click the mouse, add, choose controller. I'm selecting Web API 2 controller empty, add. The controller name is insert add. And here we got our API controller insert. Now in this API controller, I'm declaring the public HTTP action result insert EMP method. And this insert EMP method, which is the HTTP POST method. So after that, in this method I'm adding our table name, which is a EMP Reg. Let's add that one, EMP Reg. EG is an object. Now in this method I'm adding our connection string entity name. CM entities is our connection string name. CM is equals to object, new CM entities. Next, CM dot our table object name is emregisters dot add method. In this add method, I am declaring the EG object. This object I am adding here. Once we add the record, then we have to change save changes. CM dot save changes method. Then return OK. Once the record is saved successfully, I want to display the message record saved successfully. That's it. We have written the code in this web API to insert the record. Now the next step is open Solution Explorer. Let's add a new web form page to this project. Select the project name or right click the mouse, add. I'm selecting web form. The web form name is insert record is a web form name. Click OK. And here we got our insert record. Now in the source page I'm adding the center tag. In the center tag I'm adding the header h1. Now between this header tag I'm adding a label heading consume web API into web form to insert records using jQuery. After that I'm adding horizontal line. Now after the horizontal line I'm adding a table element which contains a border 1. Now in this table I'm adding tr, td, the first one. In our table we have 4 columns, so I'm adding emp name, email and location only. The emp id column is a auto generate column, so I don't require to add. The first one is the employee name, which is a label. The next td, let's add the ASP.NET control, text box control. In the standard folder, come to the bottom, there is a text box control. Let's add that one. I'm changing the ID of this text box control text emp name. Let's copy this one. And next year and next year. The second one is the employee email. I'm changing the ID for the email, text emp email. And the last column we have a location. I am changing the ID of the text box control, text LOC. Then after the table we require a simple button control to insert the data. So again open toolbox, go to top, there is a button control. Let's add that one. I'm changing the button ID from button 1 to button save, but save, and that text label I'm changing to insert a record is a button control name. That's it, we have just finished the designing part. Now we have to consume the web API into this web form page using Ajax jQuery. So go to top. Now between this header section of the title, when we are implementing jQuery, the most important, the first thing, we require the latest jQuery reference link. So open Solution Explorer. Now in the project there is a scripts folder. Expand that one. In the scripts folder there is a jQuery 1.10.2.min.js. Just select that file, drag and drop. Then let's add the script tag. Now in the script tag I'm declaring a function add emp record is a function name. In this function I'm declaring a variable insert is equals to curly braces, semicolon, insert dot. I'm declaring the variable insert dot, the column names, emp name, add that one, emp name is equals to dollar between double quotes. I'm adding the text box ID of the emp name. So when we are adding the IDs of the controls, we need to prefix with the hash dot val method. And the next one is the email. This email, and the ID is text emp email, and the last one is the location. We need to add the exact same column names here. the locations, and here the last text box control ID is text LOC for the location. Then after declaring the variables, now we have to consume web API into this jQuery using Ajax functionality. So $.ajax method, in this Ajax method between curly braces, let's implementing the Ajax methods. First one is a URL, which is a string parameter, semicolon. Here the URL I am adding is a comma. Here the between double quotes the URL, we need to add our web API URL address. So for that, switch to the API controller. To get this API controller URL, we need to browse this API. So Google Chrome. And here we got the default output of the project, which is the home page. Now we require the web API URL after the domain name, the local host, and adding the API. Our web API controller name is the insert. Let's copy that one, add, enter. And here we got the results of this web API URL. We are getting some error message. The request resource does not support HTTP method GET. The reason we have implemented in this API controller, which is the HTTP post. So don't worry about this error message. We just require this web API URL. Copy that one. Stop debugging. Switch to the source page. In the URL, let's add that one, the web API URL, again /. Now after adding the web API URL, /, we need to add our table name emp-res. Copy this one, the table name I have added, then and the type. The type is the post. We are posting the data. Then the content type is the application / JSON semicolon cat set is equals to UTF -8 comma. The next method is the data colon JSON dot stringify method. In the stringify method, I am adding the variable insert. It's a comma. Data type colon JSON. Between double quotes, I am adding JSON data type comma. Then I'm adding the success. Let's add the function response. In the success function, I'm adding when the records are inserted successfully, I want to display this message. So alert string message response. Copy this one and paste here. Let's add the semicolon. That's it. We have added the functionality to consume web API into this jQuery. Now the last step, $document dot ready function. Now in this ready function, when a user click the button control, I want to save the details. Between double quotes hash. The button control ID is but save. Dot click function function e semicolon here also one more semicolon. When I click the button control, I want to execute this function. So copy this function name, add here, then e dot prevent default. Prevent default method, it prevents to save the duplicate values when I reload the web page. That's it, we have done the complete coding part. Now it's time to check the results on the browser, Google Chrome. And here we got the final output. Let's insert the records, the employee name, Charan, the employee email ID, charan@gmail.com, and the location is India. Now before insert the record, let's check in our database table. I'm executing the table. Right now this table contains 0 rows. Let's insert the record. Insert record. See, here we got a message, record saved successfully. Click OK. Let's check in the database table. I'm executing the same statement again. Execute. See, here we got the Charan details are inserted successfully. Let's insert the second employee details. This time I'm adding joe@gmail.com USA. Insert record. See, here again we got a message, record saved successfully. Let's close the alert message. Let's execute the table again. Execute. So here we got the John record is added successfully. That's it. We have implemented to consume web API into web form to insert records using jQuery.